Before I begin my speech, I would like to preface that there is going to be a lot of numbers. And if math is something that bores you to sleep, I'm sorry, but sweet dreams. My story begins a few years ago in an art class when I came across this image called the Golden Spiral. As I grew up, I soon began noticing that it was everywhere, from pine cones to pictures of the Milky Way. I have always been fascinated by the idea of pattern recognition. It gave more meaning to the world, and so I asked myself if there was something more behind this pattern. To start off, let's recreate the golden spiral together. First, we have a square of sides 1. Then another square of sides 1. For the third square, we take the sum of the two previous squares. 1 plus 1 gives a square of sides 2. This pattern, where every value is the sum of the two preceding values, is called the Fibonacci sequence. Now, 1 plus 2 gives a square of sides 3. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 5 plus 3 equals 8. 8 plus 5 equals 13. And finally, 13 plus 8 gives a final square of sides 21. The rectangle resulting from this is called the golden rectangle because it has sides following the Fibonacci sequence, 21 and 34. Now, by drawing a line through all of the shapes, we get the golden spiral. But what is so special about this golden spiral? Well, it is suggested by many that it creates pleasing images through its natural balance, visual harmony, and commonality in the natural world. An experiment in 1876 by German psychologist Gustav Fechner found that there was a general tendency for people to prefer the golden rectangle, highlighting how the golden ratio is generally pleasing to us. But what is the golden ratio? Well, let's take a look back at the Fibonacci sequence from earlier. Now we will take the quotient of every two successive values. 2 over 1 is 2. 3 over 2 is 1.5. 5 over 3 is 1.6 recurring. 8 over 5 is 1.6. And these are the next four quotients. As you can see, the further along the Fibonacci sequence we get, the closer we approach a value, one that is approximately 1.618, or the golden ratio, a value that has constantly intrigued mathematicians due to its unique properties. We know this because a mathematician named Johannes Kepler went along the Fibonacci sequence, dividing each integer by the previous one, and created this formula. The formula states that as the Fibonacci sequence approaches infinity, the quotient between two successive values will approach the golden ratio. The three dots next to 1.618 represents an irrational number, which is defined as a number that never ends. Just like how in math class, you have probably learned that 3.14 is the irrational number pi. 1.618, or the golden ratio, is the irrational number phi. The golden ratio isn't just prevalent because it resonates with us. It also plays a crucial role in the function of nature, shaping the natural world. By understanding the role of the golden ratio in our lives, I offer you a shortcut to understanding the intricacies and interconnectedness of our lives through the tool of pattern recognition. First, let's start off with plants and leaves and petals. Just like how we, as humans, need to eat to survive, plants need to carry out photosynthesis to thrive. To efficiently carry out photosynthesis, plants must expose the largest possible surface area of leaves to sunlight. This means that they must avoid overlaps or large empty spaces. If a plant has a leaf every entire rotation, or 360 degrees, it will only be able to fit one leaf. For 180 degrees, the plant would only be able to fit 2 leaves because the third leaf would overlap with the first one. 120 degrees would allow for 3 leaves, and 90 degrees only 4. We could try using a really small fraction, something random, let's say 1/29th of a rotation, which is approximately 12.4 degrees. But if we only had 8 leaves, then there would be a large empty space going to waste. And even if we had a large number of leaves, such as 55, then there would still be overlaps. In general, any rational number for a leaf rotation will lead to overlaps or large empty spaces, which isn't ideal. So instead, plants opt to follow the golden ratio by having a leaf every 360 over 5 of a rotation, or approximately 222.5 degrees. Or if we go the other way around the circle, 360 minus 222.5 will give us 137.5, which is known as the golden angle, as it is derived from the golden ratio. By looking at this diagram, we can see that with the golden angle, the leaves are mostly evenly spaced out, especially for plants with a Fibonacci number of leaves. For example, this diagram on the bottom right. In addition, even if we keep on adding more and more leaves to the plant, there will never be an overlap. Interestingly, if we create 2 rectangles, one of sides 222.5 and 137.5, and a second rectangle of sides 360 and 222.5, we get 2 golden rectangles. This highlights a fascinating trait of the golden ratio, where if A is over B is the golden ratio, then A plus B over A will also be the golden ratio. This pattern of leaf rotation means that many plants will have a Fibonacci number of leaves or petals. The Fibonacci sequence, which, as I've defined before, is a sequence where every value is the sum of the 2 preceding values, starting from 1 and 2. This pattern is apparent in artichokes, celery, and sunflower. Sunflowers, for example, will typically have 34 leaves, 34 petals, while larger sunflowers will have 55 petals or even 89 petals. These 3 numbers are all values in the Fibonacci sequence. Other than leaf and petal rotation, nature also uses the golden ratio in its structure. At every layer in a plant, there will be a Fibonacci number of leaves or branches. This is done to maximize sunlight exposure. As we can see in the first 2 diagrams, the patterns follow 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13. While in the last diagram, the pattern follows 1, 1, 2, 3, and 8. Through these examples, we can see how nature uses the golden ratio in various ways to maximize efficiency. Before I move on to the next part of my speech, can I ask you to raise your hand if the person sitting next to you has fallen asleep? Over there, I see 4 people sitting in a row raising their hands, and that means you can't be asleep. So I guess math might not be that boring of a topic after all. It is clear that we can see the golden ratio in our lives. But did you know we can also hear it? I want you to take a look at these 3 pieces and think of how they may be similar. The first piece, Perfect Illusions by Lady Gaga, was one of the most popular songs back in 2016, and is a piece I'm sure most of us are familiar with. The second piece, Chopin's Prelude in C major, is a short piano piece written in the Romantic era, which is the 19th century. And the final piece, Gilded Runner, is one of Sumeru's battle theme from the video game Genshin Impact. You are probably thinking that these 3 pieces will definitely be completely unrelated from each other, as they're written in different eras, in different styles of music, and targeted at different audiences. But just like how nature uses the golden ratio, by analyzing the composition of these 3 pieces, we may realize that they are more interconnected than may seem at a first glance. First, let's look at structure. By taking a song's length and dividing it by the golden ratio, we get the phi moment. The phi moment gets its name because here, section A divided by section B will give us the golden ratio, or phi. In perfect solutions, by isolating the music, we will find that the song lasts 179 seconds. At 111 seconds in the song, the phi moment, Lady Gaga incorporates a key change, modulating from F sharp minor up to G sharp minor. In pop music, modulations tend to occur towards the end of the piece when everything sounds slightly higher. This creates more tension, more excitement, and more energy. It marks a climax, and this is the part where we typically dance to. The phi moment plays a crucial, yet oftentimes overlooked role in giving these pieces an interesting structure that captivates the audience. The second piece, Chopin's Prelude in C major, a piece with 34 bars, also uses the phi moment as shown here, with the climax appearing in bar 21. 21 and 34 are both values in the Fibonacci sequence. This piece takes the golden ratio even further, placing significant moments at bars following the golden ratio, at bars 8, 13, 21, and 34. For those of you interested in the specific application of music theory in this piece, here is a brief run-through. The opening section lasts 8 bars, with the lowest tone, G, being played. In bar 13, the piece modulates from C major to D minor, beginning a chromatic ascension from C sharp 2 to C3. This ascension ends on bar 21, the climax of the piece, which is marked by the highest tone, D, and the piece ends on bar 34. The final piece, Gilded Runner, takes a much different approach to using the golden ratio compared to the other two pieces. The composer Yu Pangshen experimented with the golden ratio to create a series of pattern of meter changes in the piece following it, from 1/8 to 2/8, 3/8, 5/8, 8/8, 13/8, and then 21/8, before all repeating. Shen claims that the rich and dynamic rhythmic changes helps to create a modern atmosphere. Sometimes it helps to see what is happening to truly comprehend the significance of this experimentation. Even as music has evolved through time, we are still able to pick out the usage of the golden ratio in various ways, in various pieces from various time periods. This suggests a certain resonance that the golden ratio holds, gravitating composers towards using it in their pieces, and gravitating audiences towards listening to these pieces. Through this talk, we've seen how the golden ratio manifests itself in various aspects of our lives. Even as the world has changed to the point where life today is completely unrecognizable to someone living just 2 centuries ago, we are still actively using the golden ratio, just like how Chopin used it in his piece in the 19th century, and just like how nature has been using the golden ratio all along. Maybe, as you walk out of this room today, you will begin noticing patterns between things that seemed vastly different before. And maybe, even as the world has changed and will continue to change, the building blocks giving it its inherent beauty hasn't. Thank you.